Okay, since we're in the financial unit, we're going to now talk about interest and earning interest on the money that you have. So you can do stuff with your money. You could put it in a coffee can, like in my nice, neat drawing here. But if you put it in your coffee can, like you know where it is, and so you know your money is there, you put it in there, but it's not making any money just by itself. So if you want to make money on your money, you have to put it in like a bank or some kind of financial institution, and you want to earn interest on that money. So what happens is, you put your money in the bank, and the banks use your money, and they use those to fund mortgages and loans and that kind of stuff. And then so people make payments, and the bank makes money off of your money. So in exchange for that, they give you a tiny bit of, like a little tiny portion of what they're making, and they do that in the form of interest. Now you'll see once we get into this that usually interest rates, like on savings accounts, are just, they're fairly embarrassing, like they're really, really small. But okay, there are two basic types of interest. There's simple interest and there's compound interest. So with simple interest, you're going to get the same amount every single year. So your money is building, but it's not building on previous year's interest. Like you're only making interest off of what you put in. We're going to talk about that one first. Compound is going to grow faster. So we'll look at that one too. But first let's talk about simple. So with simple interest, let's say we have our little coffee can, and that's kind of representing my little, where I'm putting my money into in my simple interest. One of the places that you get simple interest most of the times is with stuff like CDs. Now, CD stands for certificate of deposit. What that is you put money in the bank and you tell them like it's an agreed upon period of time. So if you put a CD for 5 years, or like this thing, let's say 4 years. So a CD, we're investing for 4 years. Well, in a CD, once you put your money in and you agree to a time period, you can't get your money back out. So if you agree to 4 years, then your money stays there for 4 years. And then at the end of the 4 years, you can get it out plus whatever interest you put in. Now that's a little different than a normal savings account. Now savings accounts usually have a lower interest rate than CDs do, but with savings account, you can get your money out anytime. There may be some kind of a minimum balance just to keep the account open, but pretty much you can take your money in. You could take it out. You could put more in. With a CD, you put in a block of money. Like in this case, I'm pretending $400. I put that $400 in. I can't add to it, but I also can't take it out, and it just stays there for the whole 4 years. And so in this case, I'm using I for interest rate. As a math person, I don't really like that because, as you recall from Algebra 2, I was really the imaginary number, which is square root of -1. So it kind of, I really don't like using I, but some of the worksheets and stuff for financial stuff usually uses either I or R for interest rate, or I for interest rate. Actually, I'm going to change that to an R. Da-da-da. I like that better. It really does kind of bother me to use it on I, because I think I need to be square rooting a -1. Okay, so if my interest rate is 5.2% and I'm putting $400 in, the way this works is that every year I'm going to get 5.2%, but I'm going to get 5.2% of my $400. So 5.2% of $400, so I changed this 5.2 to a decimal, so 0.052 times 400 gives me $20.80. So 20.8. So that's how much interest I earn for the year. So my starting value is $400. I earn $20.80. So at the end of the first year, I have $420.80 because I just added it on. Well, so my end value becomes my new start value for the next year. So 420.8. Because this is simple interest, I get the same amount of interest every single year. It doesn't change. So this is going to be the same all the way down. That's where this is different from compound, you'll see in a minute. So then at the end of year 2, I just take my starting value for year 2, which is 420.8, and then I add 20.8. So now I have $441.60. So that becomes my new start value. Let me make it a different color so you can see where this goes. So this goes 441 0.6. I add my 20.8, and I get 462.4. And then my end value from year 3 becomes my start value from year 4, because my account grew, so 462.4. I'm going to add my $20.80 to that. And my final value at the end of my 4 years, let me put this in a bright color, is $483.20. So that's my ending value. So I put $400 in. At the end of 4 years, I got $483.20 back. That's simple interest. The next kind of interest that we have is compound interest. Compound, you're going to see, grows a whole lot faster, because in simple interest, our interest was the same all the way down. So you were only, like if I go back, you're only calculating your interest off of this original amount, this $400. But in compound, we're not doing that the whole way through. So what we're going to do, so I start with 400. So let me put my little 400. In the first year, my interest is going to be this, I'm assuming the same interest rate so we can see how it changes. My interest would be 0.052 times 400, so it's going to be the same as it was in the first one, so $20.80. So, and then I'm going to add those up, so I have $420.80. So that looks exactly the same as the first year from the simple. See, table is the exact same, 420 and 80. But that's where the similarities end. So after that, so my end value, I'm going to put it here. My end value becomes my new start value for my next year. So I have $420.80. On compound interest, every year you're earning interest on what you have, not on what you started with. So instead of having 0.052 times 400, I'm going to put my new start value in there. So it's going to be 0.052 times $420.80. So now, instead of earning $20.80, I'm earning $21.88. Okay, so, I mean, it's a dollar difference, but it adds up. So, okay, so 420.80 plus 21.88. So my new total is 442. Let me make this a different color so we could track this. Okay, 442 and 68 cents. So, okay, so that's my end value for year 2. For year 3, that becomes my start value. So 442.68. Now my interest is going to be on that. So I go 0.052 times 442.68. So now I'm earning $23.02, 23.02. So it's going up every single time. So 23.02 times 442.68. This is a short period of, not times, it's plus. I was like, oh my goodness, it jumped to 10,000. Okay, 442.68 plus 23.02. So now I have $465. So 465 and 70 cents. So that becomes my new start value, so 465 and 70 cents. Then I'm going to do my interest on that. So now my interest is $24, so 24.22. I add that to my $465.70, and so I end up with $489.92. Well, that's not a lot, right? So, or it's not a lot of difference. So if we look at simple, we ended with $483.20. With this one, we end with $489.92. So it's about like $6 difference, but it's still got bigger faster. So with compound interest, you get interest based on the amount of money that you have, not the money that you started with. And this is important because normally, if you have a savings account, especially like a retirement account, or if you're like really, really good about saving, then you won't just put it in and leave it there. Like in this case, we're assuming we put $400 in our little in our little account and then we didn't touch it. But in reality, you would be contributing that. So you might, if you put like $100 a month, that's $1,200 a year, and you're going to get interest on what you started with plus that $1,200 a year. So with compound interest, it's going to grow a whole lot faster than it would with simple interest.